Jonah won. So God pulled up on Jonah and gave him a mission. Go to Nineveh and tell them to get it together, 'cause their mess has reached my ears. But Jonah wasn't feeling that, so he dipped. Instead of heading to Nineveh, he hopped on a boat going the opposite direction, toward Tarshish, thinking he could duck God. God was like, "Oh, you think you slick?" and sent a crazy storm that had the whole boat rocking. The crew was shook, throwing cargo overboard to lighten the load, praying to their gods, doing whatever they could to survive. Meanwhile, Jonah, knocked out, deep in sleep like he didn't have a care in the world. The captain woke him up like, "Bruh, how you sleeping through this? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he'll save us." The crew cast lots, basically rolling dice to see who was the problem. And boom, Jonah got exposed. They pressed him. "Who are you? Where you from? What's your deal?" Jonah sighed and kept it real. "I'm a Hebrew. I serve the real God, the one who made the sea and the land." The sailors were terrified now. "Wait, you running from your God?" "Bro, why?" The storm kept getting worse, so they asked, "What we gotta do to fix this?" Jonah said, "Just toss me overboard. The storm is 'cause of me." They ain't want to do it, so they tried rowing back to shore, but God wasn't letting that slide. The storm got even crazier. Finally, they pray, "Lord, don't let us die 'cause of this dude." Then threw Jonah into the sea. Instantly, the storm stopped. The sailors were so shook, they started worshiping God right then and there, making vows and offering sacrifices. Meanwhile, God sent a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and that's where he stayed, inside the belly of the beast for 3 whole days and nights. Moral of the story: you can run, but you can't hide from God. When he calls you to do something, dodging him will only make things harder for you. Sometimes, the storms in your life ain't random. They're wake-up calls. Surrender, and you might just save yourself and the people around you. Jonah 2. So while Jonah was chilling, well, more like suffering, inside the belly of this giant fish, he finally called out to God. He was like, "All right, Lord, you got it. I was down bad, drowning, thought it was over for me. But I cried out to you, and you heard me. I was sinking, water closing in on me, seaweed wrapped around my head like a death trap. I hit rock bottom, literally. But even there, you pulled me out." Jonah kept praying. "When I felt like all hope was gone, I remembered you. I sent up my prayers, and I know you heard me in your holy temple." Then he got real about himself. Man, people out here chasing fake gods, but all they doing is blocking their own blessings. As for me, I'ma keep it 100. I was running, but I owe you my praise. I'll do what I promised. Salvation comes from you alone. And just like that, God was like, "All right, lesson learned." He commanded the fish to spit Jonah out onto dry land. And just like that, plop, Jonah was back, free, and probably smelling like straight-up fish guts. Moral of the story: God hears you even in your lowest place. No matter how deep you've sunk, you're never too far gone for him to pull you out. But don't wait until you're in the belly of the beast to start praying. Stay connected before it gets that bad. Jonah 3. Okay, so after Jonah got spit out, God pulled up on him again like, "All right, round 2, go to Nineveh and tell them what I said." This time, Jonah ain't run. He pulled up to Nineveh, and let me tell you, this city was huge. Took 3 whole days just to walk through it. Jonah ain't waste no time though. On the first day, he started preaching. "Y'all got 40 days before God shuts all this down. Nineveh, over with if y'all don't change." And you know what? The people actually listened. They believed God on the spot. Everybody, from the rich to the broke, the powerful to the powerless, started fasting and rocking sackcloth, basically showing they were sorry. Word got to the king and he wasn't too proud to humble himself. He took off his royal drip, put on sackcloth, and sat in the dust like, yeah, we really messed up. Then he made it official. He sent out a decree. Ain't nobody eating or drinking, not even the animals. Everybody, put on sackcloth, cry out to God with everything you got, and change your ways ASAP. Stop the wickedness, stop the violence. Who knows? Maybe God will show us mercy and call off this destruction. And guess what? God saw how they really turned from their wicked ways, and he changed his mind. He held back the destruction he was about to send. Nineveh got saved, all because they actually listened and repented. Morale of the story: it's never too late to change. When you truly repent, not just with words but with action, God can and will turn things around. Mercy is real, and he's always ready to forgive. Jonah 4. But Jonah? Big mad, he was real salty that God didn't destroy Nineveh. He said, "See, this why I ain't want to come here in the first place. I knew you was gonna let them slide. You too merciful, too loving, too quick to forgive. If you was just gonna let them off the hook, why you send me out here? Man, just take me now. I'd rather be dead than see them saved." God was like, "You mad?" Really? Jonah stormed off, sat outside the city, and just watched, hoping maybe God would still change his mind and wreck the place. While he was sitting there, God made this big leafy plant grow up over him to give him shade. Jonah was loving it. Finally, something going his way. But the next day, God sent a worm to eat up the plant, and it withered. Then he made the sun blaze, and a hot wind hit Jonah so hard he was struggling. Jonah got so miserable he was like, "Man, I might as well be dead." God said, "You really this mad over a plant? You ain't grow it, you ain't take care of it, but now that it's gone, you and your feelings." Then God hit him with the real lesson. "So you care that much about a plant, but you wanted me to destroy a whole city with 120,000 people in it. People who didn't even know right from wrong, and all the animals too. You don't think I should care about them?" And that's how it ends. God basically left Jonah sitting there, thinking about his attitude. Moral of the story: don't be salty when God shows grace to people you don't think deserve it. His love and mercy ain't just for you, it's for everybody. Instead of being bitter, be grateful he doesn't give any of us what we really deserve.